Okay, so today I wanted to talk to everyone about some things that I don't like about my Prius Prime, and hopefully be able to show you them, assuming that the sunlight's good and all that. Now, there are a ton of things that I do really like about it, and that is the reason why I purchased it. So if you love the Prius Prime or you love Priuses, uh, please go easy on me in the comment section. But these are a couple of the things that I really don't care for, and I hope that they address for future model years. So the first thing that I really don't care for is the glare from the big touchscreen when you're driving east at sunset. This is a problem for me because my wife actually lives quite a few hours west from me, and when I'm going to see her on the weekends and I'm driving back, typically it's at night and I'm driving east. Now the sun's setting in the west, and if it's at the right angle, it can blind you with that touchscreen. It is very very bright. I know that a lot of other cars have the touchscreen sort of driver focus, so it's angled, and that's not as much of an issue. In future model years, I would like to see Toyota address this issue. Um, if you have a Prius Prime with a touchscreen, you probably know what I'm talking about. I did consider tinting my front windows because of this reason, but that would be illegal in my state, so I decided against it. Um, but if you live in a state where you can have tinted front windows, that might be an option for you. The second thing I don't really like is the low ground clearance, and I'll go over that uh, in a little bit. I'll take an extra video and try figuring out how to edit it in at this moment in time. But anyways, my bumper scuffs like I don't know, quite a bit. I had a Audi A4 before, and that thing was pretty low to the ground. Um, I didn't have nearly as many issues scuffing the bumper as I did with this. Um, so I'll show you with the bumper scuffs. I'll get down there and I'll show you, but yeah, it is very low to the ground. So something to be aware of if you have a steep driveway or you have to go over a lot of speed bumps. Another thing I don't like is that, like I just mentioned, I had an Audi before, and I think that my paint must have been a couple coats thick. And on the Prius Prime, I don't think that it's that thick, and I'm not fully convinced that there's actual clear coat on it. And the paint scratches and chips very, very easily. I don't park next to anybody. I actually park away from people, but I noticed a few chips and scratches within probably the first month of owning this car. Um, and I'll get a couple screenshots of that. The next thing that I don't like is the wireless charger for your cell phone. Um, it's pretty inefficient. It's a lot quicker to just plug your phone into the USB port. It's really more of a bragging thing than anything. Like people get in and say, "Oh, you have a wireless charger," and it's a good talking point, but um, it's pretty inefficient and doesn't really work that well. But it is a great place to keep your phone. Like if I go to the gym and I'm wearing gym shorts that don't have pockets, or maybe some pants that the pockets don't really fit my phone in too well, then all of a sudden, like, it makes sense to store my phone there. Um, the next thing that I don't like is the placement of where the seat heaters are located. They're located down like underneath the screen and the shift lever, and they're kind of hidden, and it's really confusing for a lot of people that first get in the car if it's a cold day out, or if you live in the northern states like I do. During the winter, everyone wants to put their seat heater on immediately, and they're looking all over their seat for it. They can't find it. It is kind of annoying. If you own it, you get used to it, but um, it would be much simpler if it was located on the seat like all the other cars. The next thing that I don't like is I don't have the advanced model. I have the premium model, and I figured that the LED light strips in the front, I knew that they served as the directionals, but I also thought that I would have some daytime running lights down there, or possibly like a fog light. Um, the bright LEDs I don't really think would do too well for fog lights, but I at least would like them to work. On the advanced, they turn on, but on the premium model, they don't work. And I looked in the owner's manual, I asked the dealer about this, and this is one of the things that I found out after buying the car. It probably wouldn't have changed my mind whether purchasing or not. Like, they're just little lights, but it was kind of annoying when I realized that they didn't actually work. And um, Next thing that I don't really care for is, I mentioned that I live in the northern states, and winters can get pretty bad up here in New England. And the EV mode in winter, uh, if you have a full charge, it wants to default to EV mode. And I purchased my car in January, so I experienced this in the beginning, but I was still getting used to my car, so I wasn't really entirely sure I knew what I was doing. But now I'm to the point where, I have 22,000 miles on the car. I know it pretty well, so I'm looking forward to this winter so I can see if this is as big of an issue as I thought it was originally, or if it was just me not knowing how to operate the car. But when you do have a full charge, it resorts to EV mode, and because it's so low to the ground, it gets hung up during snowstorms a lot, and it gets stuck pretty easily. And when you're trying to like get yourself unstuck, and it constantly goes back into EV mode, it's very annoying. It's a workout to get unstuck if you're by yourself. Um, so anyways, just keep that in mind if you live in the northern states. I know that one of my coworkers, he actually has a Subaru Forester, and obviously he lives near I do, and he was considering getting a Prius Prime, and I told him, well, the low ground clearance is an issue. It doesn't have all-wheel drive. That's a learning curve that I had to go over when I was switching from my Audi, because I had the Quattro all-wheel drive. It handled very well in the snow. The Prius, if you drive, um, if you drive for the weather conditions, it's not much of an issue. But I think that you get a little overconfident if you do have all-wheel drive. So it's something to keep in mind if you live where it's the roads could be icy. And then, like I said, when it snows, it's very difficult to get out. The low ground clearance, coupled with the fact that if there's enough charge, it defaults to EV mode, makes it very annoying. So something to consider. And I recommended for him, if that was going to be an issue for him, if he parked in his driveway, maybe go with something else. But if he had a nice garage where it wasn't really going to be an issue with getting stuck, then at that point it would probably still make sense to purchase the car. So anyways, I hope this video was good. I will now get out and I'll show you a couple of the things that I was talking about. Okay, so earlier I was saying that I did not like the placement of the heated seats, and as you can see, I have my power seats down here. They work very nice, but there's no button on the side of the seat for the heated seats. It is located right there. So that's pretty annoying. One thing I do like, and I'll go over this more in the video about the things that I do like, is the Moonstone interior actually has like sort of light blue stitching, which is pretty nice. And I mentioned about the paint chipping pretty easily. Now, I'll show you some of the where the paint had scratched. You can see that there's a scratch right there. There's another one right there. You can see it, and I have some chips in my paint. You can see right there, and somewhere over here. Oh yeah, right there. So paint does chip pretty easily on this. Oh yeah, the low ground clearance. You can see that. I mean, that's pretty low. And my bumper, you can see that I have hit it on the ground multiple times. So if that's a concern for you, you might want to consider something else. Okay, so I talked to you about the fog lights earlier, and I'll show you right now that I turned on my headlights. I'll turn on my directional so you can see. You can see that my my headlights are on, directional's on, but these three LEDs down here do not turn on. And it's just something that I kind of assumed would. I think the Advance actually has like some fog lights right there, and I've seen pictures on Toyota where all of these are lit up white. But yeah, again, they don't actually work. Just something to note. So I forgot to mention about the glare, or I did mention it, but I forgot to show you guys. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. The sun's setting right now, and you can kind of see it down there. There is a nice shadow, but imagine if the whole screen looked like that. You're driving down the road, you go around a corner, and boom, you're not expecting it at all. Uh, it's it's pretty annoying, and I wish that they addressed this in the future. If you want to go for the base model, then this won't be as much of an issue because the screen wouldn't be so big, but for the advanced and the premium models, it's something to consider.